This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. This afternoon from Chicago, the Windy City and Wrigley Field. It's game number 2 of the 5-game series. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everyone. It's Day Baseball. That's Jim Edmonds, the Cardinals Hall of Famer. Alexa Dad is with us. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cardinals trying to bounce back from a tough loss in Game 1. But a guy that quietly is really turning it on at the plate. No, it's not Paul Goldschmidt. It's not Arenado. It's Harrison Bader.
It is. I think he's starting to feel it a little bit. He's been struggling with pitch selection over the years, and we talk about his open stance, but when he squares back up like that right there, he's been able to hit the ball all over the ballpark as of late. You can see in the last 14 games. What's really funny is talking with him, he's not satisfied yet, but he's really starting to turn it on. The home run last night, I think he's starting to find something, and he always is one of those late bloomers during the season that turns it up a notch.
Never satisfied. You love to hear that. And good games for Harrison here at Wrigley Field. 33 games, a .348 average. He loves a crowd, so maybe that's it. He gets up for the crowd. 5 home runs, the 11 driven in, over 1,000 OPS. Harrison Bader in the lineup here this afternoon and playing center field. Coming up, historical moments for the Cardinals, moments you don't forget in this rivalry. And that's next. Cubs and Cardinals, Game 2 is coming up. Day baseball at Wrigley in a beautiful afternoon here in Chicago. American Family Insurance, dream fearlessly, and today's starter is Miles Michaelis. Season, and the Cardinals have a trio, and Miles Michaelis is one of them.
Well, yeah, he's a strike thrower, so he's going to command the strike zone and get ahead, and then he could do whatever he wants. He could pitch backwards, he could pitch forwards, he could pitch sideways if he needs to, but the name of the game is throwing strikes.
So who are the other two? Well, it's Michaelis, Wainwright, and Dakota Hudson, especially after 18 straight the other day, set down by Dakota against the Padres. Miles Michaelis is on the mound. Marcus Stroman for Chicago. The St. Louis Cardinals. The Chicago Cubs. It's always fun. Baseball next. The 0-2. He struck him out. And oh, how sweet it is. Some fun moments this rivalry has provided over the years, especially here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. A lot of Cardinal red in the seats as the weekend series continues. Game number 2 of the 5-game set. It is 78 degrees, and the wind is blowing out towards right with Alexa Dad and Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Beautiful day for baseball here at the friendly confines.
You ain't lying. I think yesterday was nice. I don't think it can get any nicer today, but the wind as an outfielder, you don't want to see. As a hitter, maybe so, but as an outfielder, no sir. But what a beautiful, beautiful day here in Wrigley.
Tommy Edman at the top, and then Nolan Gorman, Paul Goldschmidt, 38 straight games on base, 24-game hitting streak. Nolan Arenado, Brendan Donovan, Corey Dickerson, Lars Nootbaar, Harrison Bader, Andrew Kisner against Marcus Stroman. And he has been the ace the Cubs expected after a rocky start to the season. He got COVID, but he's allowed 2 runs or fewer in each of his last 5 starts, including 7 shutout innings against the White Sox last time out, the Hyundai pitch arsenal.
Well, you can see it's mostly sinker, slider, with the other stuff mixed in. 4-seam, sinker, cutter, all fastballs. Has a split-fingered fastball. I'm not sure if it's a true split or he uses it like a changeup, but that's a pitch that he will use from time to time. maybe in a good hitting count, try to get you out in front, little ground ball, but he's going to come at you and try to be aggressive.
And here is Tommy Edman. He looks at a strike, and we are underway. Pat Hoiberg calling the balls and strikes. Bruce Dreckman down at first. Edwin Moscoso at second. Paul Emmel, the third base umpire. The 0-1 pitch coming to Tommy Edman. And quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. And with that, Wisdom with the 2 strikes, the third baseman backing up. And a shift on here for the Cubs.
This is like back in motion right there. Offensive shift for a football team.
And the 0-2. 3 pitches and a strikeout of Tommy Edman. He's been one of the best defensive outfielders for the last decade or so, and that's Jason Hayward. He's in right, Ortega in center, Ian Happ is in left. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Wisdom, Andrelton Simmons at short, Morel at second, Rivas at first, and Higgins behind the plate. There's Nolan Gorman. So he's back in there today, but dealing with a sore back. Had a great start to his career, those 3 games in Pittsburgh. Went 5 for 10. Then he was 0 for 11. And all of a sudden, he stopped the high leg kick and started driving the baseball, and he's put up big numbers.
Well, I like what Ollie did here today, and I love the fact, for me, that he's not afraid to change things around. You have Goldie hot, Arenado getting hot, but move them down and line up, so what? And I love it because you get a guy like this, maybe he'll get some pitches to hit. You put him at the bottom of the lineup, and maybe he'll get in a situation, especially left-handed. You get pitched around a lot more. And then you get a good young hitter at the bottom of the order. They're going to play with him a little bit. They're going to pitch around him. You know, when you get surrounded by Bader and Kisner, right-handed, you're definitely not going to see a lot of pitches to hit. So I think this move is great. Kind of the lineup we talked about earlier in the year. I thought that maybe the 2 speedsters up front and these guys 3 and 4, but hasn't been that way this year. But I do like the change.
Also, you think about what is behind you and the pitches you may see. If you're Nolan Gorman, take advantage of it.
Yeah, and the thing, too, is then you have Donovan behind Arenado, puts up good at-bats, and Dickerson with good numbers against Stroman. So a little method to the madness, I think.
2-2 the count on Nolan Gorman. Hard hit rate has jumped about 6% against Stroman this year. And a swing and a miss, back-to-back Ks.
Good fastball up top. A little sneaky, 93. See the ball kind of jumping out of his hand. That's the thing about day games, too. When teams don't hit on the field, I always felt like you hit inside, then you come outside, and all of a sudden you're like, it's like your first step outside in the morning. It's super bright. I never liked that. I always like to be on the field, especially in the mornings.
The first pitch to Goldie, taken for a ball. His last 32 hits, 19 of those have gone for extra bases. RBI double last night in his second plate appearance. He walked in the first. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
The other thing I like about this is the thing with Ollie, too, is he's not afraid to do this. A lot of managers would say, oh, I don't want to mess with him. He's hot. Well, that has nothing to do with where he's hitting unless you move him down in the order to behind everyone.
1-2. Rogers Hornsby, the longest hitting streak in Cardinals history. It was 33 games back in 1922. The 19th longest streak in the history of the game. Back in 1950, Stan the Man had a 30-gamer. Albert would tie that in 2003.
There's not a lot of 30 and ups.
And Goldie hits it on the ground to Patrick Wisdom, and a 1-2-3 inning for Stroman. Miles Michaelis on the mound for St. Louis. Cardinals and Cubs in game 2. Hits 9 and runs 6 allowed by Michaelis in an 8-0 loss to Milwaukee. Also threw a career high 115 pitches, so we see with the Hyundai pitch arsenal how he'll bounce back today.
In the kitchen sink. A lot of control, a lot of strikes with everything. I love when he gets in a good rhythm and you start seeing him flip up breaking balls, see some sliders, and then he tries to put you away with that fastball. He's got that sneaky fastball that can get into the 95 range, and I think his velocity was down in his last start. I don't know if you noticed that at all, but you can look at the Cubs lineup here, Danny.
Morel at the top, then Ortega and Happ. The switch hitter homered last night. So did Schwindel, Wisdom, Hayward, Higgins, Rivas, and Simmons. Cubs scored 2 first-inning runs last night. At 44 in the first inning of their games, that trails only the Nationals. And a big part of that recently has been the guy at the plate. And Christopher Morel hitting .267, couple of home runs, and he has driven in 6. He's played in 16 major league games and been on base in all 16. Not a bad start.
A young man, too, just 22 years old. It's impressive that Miles' last loss, they lost 8-0. 5 innings, but he threw 115 pitches. Still 82 of them strikes. I mean, he's still pumping strikes, and that's the key. I thought his velocity was down, and he wasn't as sharp, even though he threw a lot of strikes.
Morel, despite the fact he hasn't been here very long, leads the club in walks and runs and average since he's come up. But hits it into the shift, and Donovan is there, the second baseman today. Jim Edmonds, Toyota, key to the game.
Well, we're kind of just talking about it, but today it's going to be more prevalent. Miles needs to be a little bit more efficient. And I'm not saying for him, but I'd like to see him be efficient for today. He's got to go out there, throw strikes. This is a big game to win, and also a big game to stay out there as long as possible because of the doubleheader tomorrow and then again on Sunday. So 4 games in 3 days. Kind of looking to have him pitch well, but also save that bullpen as much as you can.
Here's Rafael Ortega, center fielder today, and that's strike 1. Saw him come in late last night as a pinch runner in the 8th inning. He's hitting 4 straight, 6 for his last 12. Michaelis made only 1 start last year against the Cubs, an injury-plagued season, and it was the first game back, and he only went 4 innings and then left with forearm tightness. Began the season on the IL, but this year no problems, and he's looked very good.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Yep. And the 1-2 pitch. The fly ball out to left. Corey Dickerson is there to make the catch. Miles Michaelis against the Chicago Cubs. Lowest ERA in the first 9 career starts. John Candelaria, the Candyman for the Pirates. Nolan Ryan, Greg Maddux, John Tudor, and Miles Michaelis.
I love the Greg Maddux in the Cub uniform.
First time around.
Yeah.
Not the second.
I'm just saying, like, his lowest ERA against the Cubs is in a Cub uniform. He was a Cub for a long time.
And a pitch taken in by Ian Happ. 6 home runs, and he's driven in 27. Question around Happ is whether or not the Cubs will trade him or bring him back. Tough play here, barehanded by Arenado, and off the screen of the dugout. And that'll be a base hit off the end of the bat.
I'm wondering if this ball goes foul. I think he was in a bad position right here to make this play, but
if he lets it go,
he has to go get it.
It's a double.
But I think to be honest with you, watch this play, and you can't do this on the field. Oh, it hit the bag. That's why. I was going to say, to be honest with you, you can't make this decision on the field that quickly. But if that ball doesn't hit the bag, at least he gets it with his hand. I love that he threw it to first. You know, sometimes guys will make a turn, you just don't even know. Just flip it over there and see what happens.
Well, in a way, Arenado gets off the hook with that hitting the bag, because if it doesn't hit the bag, goes by him, and you're looking at a double for Ian Happ.
And
also might have been able to keep that in front, but you know, you think about kicking it into the dugout too.
I thought that maybe if it didn't hit the bag, he catches it, but the actual bag was behind his hand, so he did miss it. And you're right, the bag did save him.
Frank Schwindel, 7 home runs, has driven in 26. He was a triple away from the cycle in the ball game last night. Short lead at first by Happ. And a rare 3-0 count for Michaelis. Miles in 4 road starts this year, a 1.54 ERA. He's had some of the toughest matchups in terms of the pitchers he has countered this year. He had Sandy Alcantara, Merrill Kelly, Max Scherzer.
He was the guy on the roster early on that wasn't getting the run support because of facing the other aces at times. And that's kind of usually how there's always some guy on the team that kind of gets the ace versus ace matchup, and the run support's not there, even though the ERA is low and all the quality starts are there.
And the 3-1 pitch.
Oh.
Cardinals defensively with Andrew Kisner behind the plate. In the outfield, Dickerson, Bader, and Nootbaar. Infield, Arenado, Edman, Donovan, and Goldie. Round the horn presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. So an infield hit, a walk, and now Patrick Wisdom. "11 home runs, and he's driven in 27. And there's strike one. Cardinals with a couple of roster moves today. Johan Oviedo and Zach Thompson, the lefty, former first-round pick out of Kentucky. Those two have been added. Matthew Liberatore, Cody Whitley optioned, and Tyler O'Neill and Dylan Carlson getting set for rehab assignments. So when Thompson comes into the ball game, that will be the 9th player to make his major league debut for the Cardinals this year. That's off the plate.
Too. Early in the season for that. Gotta love it, though. I think it shows the organization what's there, you know, on both sides. You know, you get to see it as a player, and the players in the minor leagues get to see that there's an opportunity there. I used to think that when you got sent down, you're never coming back. Watch this wind blow this ball back, Dan.
It might. Oh. Well, it's hard not to think of one thing when that happens down the left field line, as the wind is blowing from left to right, but that's pretty close to the Bartman seats.
That is right there. Maybe a little bit down the line, a little bit further.
Did you ever see the 30 for 30 on Steve Bartman?
Yes.
That play? I wonder if he's still living in Chicago or if he's moved on. I don't know.
I thought at one time he had to move away, but then, you know, maybe he bleached his hair and got into witness protection, and who knows, maybe he's enjoying the game today. Somewhere else, though, not down the left field line. That was a shame.
It was. Two and two with 2 runners on and 2 outs in the home half of the first. A drive into left center, and it's 3-0. Wisdom with home run number 12.
Well, if you hit him like this, the wind isn't going to affect it. Looked like he threw it where he wanted to throw it. Just these guys hack at fastballs, and they're ready to hit when the ball is thrown up there straight.
Team leading 12th home run. He's got 10 doubles. and leads the Cubs with now 22 extra base hits. Looked to be a harmless first inning. There's a broken bat, and it's caught by Goldie. Jason Hayward at the plate, steps on the bag just in case. 3-run homer, Wisdom, 3-0 Chicago after 1. Budweiser, this Bud's for you. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by CarShield. CarShield cars go farther. A 2-out, 3-run blast by Patrick Wisdom, his 12th of the season. He's now up to 30 driven in. And the Cubs have an early lead here in Game 2. It's Arenado, Donovan, and Dickerson. Jimmy, we talk about strike one being so important for a pitcher. And when Stroman gets that, and it goes to 0-1, teams are hitting just 143 against him. If he goes to 1-0, the average is above 300.
Well, the thing for him, too, is he hasn't really done it very well. It's only 59% of the time for strike one. But then it ramps up, but still way below the league average. But you're right, when he throws strikes, he's great. When he does it, he has a little bit of trouble.
And the 0-2 put in play by Arenado, and a base hit into center. The first Cardinal base runner and base hit today.
Put
down to get it.
Yeah, he did. I was like waiting, is it going to bounce first or is it going to hit it first on the replay?
And now it is Donovan. Average is above 300 now. 1 home run, and he is driven in 9. And the first pitch taken for a ball. Donovan at second base today. He's seeing close to 5 pitches per plate appearance. His walk rate is at 18%, and that is tops among all rookies in baseball. Not afraid to go deep into a count, not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
It's almost like if you had your prototypical base stealer, he would be your ideal second hole hitter. Left-handed and can take pitches.
And part of the left-handed idea is the blocking of the catcher, the vision just to see the runner.
Being able to hit the ball in the hole if the runner stays at first.
Might be something to think about here, too.
Well, I just think that in the future you have so many options with some of these younger players.
And a swing and a miss, strikeout
really
number 3 for Stroman.
It's twice today with that pitch.
MLB.TV is now $114.99. Watch out of market regular season games. All of them live or on demand. And MLB Big Inning as well. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Jimmy talked about it earlier, but Dickerson, good numbers against Marcus Stroman. 16 for 37, 5 doubles and a pair of homers.
Pretty good numbers against a guy like this, especially a guy with a lot of pitches, a guy that can move the ball around. And you know when a guy you're facing hits you really well, you try to change things up. So he must see the ball really well out of Marcus's hand.
And an 0-1 pitch to Dickerson. Lars Nootbaar on deck. And a long look. Here it comes. Fastball inside. One point in his last start, Stroman had retired 13 in a row. And Tim Anderson of the White Sox was asked about it, and he said it was the rhythm between Stroman and Higgins. They just were on the same page. He was working quickly. You can see they were in sync. And the 1-1. A strike, 1 and 2.
I think that's funny how some guys just get it together. You know, you get a guy that's been in the league forever. You get a catcher who's been here forever, and then you throw the second catcher out there, and they work a little bit better, or he becomes that personal catcher, so to speak. It's kind of an interesting dynamic. You work a little bit better with certain guys, or it just worked that day, and then you just use that as an excuse.
And the 1-2 is popped up. Blowing back towards the third base line, and foul. So Stroman had to try to make that play. The Cubs had a shift on, so a long way to go for Wisdom, and that's why you didn't see him in your frame until late. Stroman is a really good defensive player, too. He may win the Gold Glove this year for pitchers.
Look at Wisdom's that deep short. Here's the thing. He goes over there and catches this ball, but one thing, people don't realize how much a foul ball is spinning. So it's going to spin back anyways, and then the flag makes it even worse. So that's one of those balls where you just kind of slowly run over there and wait for it to come back to you. It's always why when the ball goes up to the catcher, you kind of have to wait and see, because it comes back so much. You know, it could be in the couple rows back and then it end up back on the field.
It is blowing hard out to right. Get it up in the air and got a chance to leave the ballpark. A strikeout of Dickerson.
There's that pitch again. That kind of that cutter slider down and into lefties. He's wearing that out today so far.
4 strikeouts for Marcus Stroman. Signed a 2-year deal with the Cubs. Pays him about $25 million per. And now it's Lars Nootbaar. Odd to be playing this far into the season, and the Cubs and the Cardinals their first meeting of the season. To the lockout, series was pushed back. These two teams were supposed to meet in that first week. And making it up with a doubleheader tomorrow. Here and there you'll have those across Major League Baseball to try to get those first 6 to 7 games in. The 0-1 pitch.
Schedule is a little different this year. You know, we're done with the Mets.
Done with the Mets. Done with the Giants.
We will not go to the West Coast other than the Giants until the last week of the year? Last 2 weeks of the year?
San Diego still. You've got L.A.
That's unusual to wait that long to go out there. I used to love it when it was right after the All-Star break. Sneak out there a little early, and then you have the West Coast trip.
1-2 the count. Stroman was with the Mets last year. Mets did have some interest in bringing him back, but he became a free agent. He bet on himself last year. Took the qualifying offer and parlayed that into a very nice contract here with the Cubs. Wearing the alternate unis today. Wrigleyville across the front.
He parlayed it, huh?
Yes, sir. He turned it into a very nice deal.
It is a very nice deal.
And the 1-2 pitch to Nootbaar. Here it comes. Lars lines it into right field. That will go all the way to the wall. Arenado is going to be waved in. Here comes a relay. They missed the cut. And now Nootbaar is caught between second and third. He is out, but the run will score. Very close to sliding under that tag.
Yeah, he was. And I don't think that's a bad base running play right there. He got out there to make sure Nolan would score, and then gets in that rundown. The run scores.
Move to the home half of the second. Hey, good afternoon to Alexa Dett.
Hey, Danny Mac. I caught up with Nolan Arenado earlier today. He's been putting together some great at-bats in the last few games, and the fact that he has been swinging the bat better, he said, is because of a couple of adjustments. One, mental. He said the fact that he just has to slow down his thinking, but A lot of it has to do also with some physical adjustments, stay on his backside a little longer. He said one problem in May, he was a little jumpy. He was trying to get to the ball instead of letting the ball come to him. It caused a lot of problems. Other thing I talked to him about was this influx of young guys. He said, yeah, I've never seen a wave like this at the same time, but we love these guys and we expect them to be winners along with us. I said, have you ever met another Nolan before? He said, nope. And now we got one in the clubhouse. Danny?
It's tough for me, too. I write it down and I had to scrap my first scorecard because I had the wrong Nolan at the wrong spot.
This little autopilot Nolan.
Yeah. Thank you, Alexa.
You had Arenado in there twice.
Can't do that, Jimmy.
No, sir.
There's P.J. Higgins. And the 1-2 pitch by Michaelis. Hit down the right field line, foul. So you were okay with the Newt Bar play there at third. You never want to make that third out at third base.
No, you don't want to make that third out at third, but I think that he would have went back to second. It would have been okay. You know, like, so I just think he was trying to get that run home, maybe thinking they were going to draw the throw. I thought that, to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be really close at the plate.
Missed the initial
if he doesn't miss the cutoff man. Yeah, and so, you know, that happens. So you got to think that they're going to try and get him, especially as how slow that play developed. And, you know, you just kind of, the one thing is you kind of get stuck out there. You forget where you're at, you know, when you're running and watching, and then you see the play develop and you're like, okay, where's the throw? Why isn't it at the plate? And you look up and the guy's got the ball in his hand and you're too far away from second base. So I'm not okay with, you know, like getting thrown out at third. But I think at times when you're trying to draw a throw, you know, one run right there is better than none.
Just off the plate. And just announced Paul Goldschmidt, the National League's Player of the Month for May.
No way.
The Cardinals, the first team since the 70s to have 3 consecutive winners. O'Neill in September of last year, Arenado, and now Goldie. Second time that he has won that with the Cardinals, third time in his career. So congratulations to Paul Goldschmidt. Did not go, and that'll be the second walk issued by Michaelis. Let him off the hook.
No, he knows that these guys are swinging at fastball, so he's a little gun shy.
So first 9 starts.
That's an interesting stat.
And then the last 2 with the earned runs and the home runs have been up.
Well, I thought that the last game, the velocity being down a little bit, kind of made him try to reinvent some stuff. You know, you can go through a dead arm period where you don't feel as comfortable, you don't have as much life on the ball. I mean, everyone goes through it. It's just depending on when and basically when and where. It's going to happen for every player, even the position player. So that's when you have to try to make yourself, you know, get through games with different stuff. And if you miss, you're going to give up some homers.
It's aligned over the heads of the players in the dugout of the Chicago Cubs. Man, oh man.
Thank you for the net.
Mike Napoli is the first base coach for Chicago and talking it over with P.J. Higgins. And the 1-1. Now 1-2.
I think that's what he's got to do a lot of that today. I think this is a good fastball hitting team. And he's got to really mix up the off speed. Can throw it for strikes, so why not go ahead and try?
Mike Napoli with Texas in 2011 when the Cardinals won the World Series. He had a .700 slugging percentage in that series against St. Louis, and then saw David Ortiz tear through the Cardinals in 2013. He was on that team. That's tapped foul. Ortiz, highest ever slugging percentage in a World Series against the Cardinals. They elected to pitch to him, and it was the wrong move. Just leave it at that.
Well, you said it.
2-2 the count. Shift on the infield here. On the bench today, Nico Horner, Nick Madrigal, Wilson Contreras, and Clint Frazier. And that is high. Aaron Judge of the Yankees, the American League Player of the Month. Goldie in the National League. Tied him up and a swing and a miss. And Michaelis has his first strikeout of the day.
Ooh, that ball. It looked like a two-seamer that went the other way. That's that same pitch that Stroman's been throwing, like the cutter, slider down and into lefties. That's just, when you challenge lefties after a while and you can get them to be aggressive, that pitch is one of the hardest pitches for them to lay off because it starts in, you got to pull the trigger, and then it just dives underneath your hands and you can't do anything with it.
Rivas is now 1 for his last 19 with 8 strikeouts. Here's Simmons, 5 for his last 21. He's always been known as a very fine defensive player. Many years with the Atlanta Braves, then out with the Angels, signed with the Cubs this offseason. Well, at some point you'd have to figure this weekend we'll see a debut again. Zach Thompson, and he will be wearing number 57. Number worn obviously by Darryl Kyle, and the last Cardinal to have that number as he passed away in June 22nd of 2002 as we were here in Wrigley Field. Darryl pitched the night that Mr. Buck passed away, and your team, Jimmy, in that year after he passed away would win 57 more games. Double play ball, 6 for 3 on the double play. We missed DK. Finish the thought on Zach Thompson. And again, if you just joined us, he's been added also to the 40-man roster. And so to make room for Zach Thompson, Kramer Robertson was designated for assignment.
And that's kind of what we were talking about last night. You know, you have a surplus down there, but how many guys are down there still that have, you know, that are on the 40-man? And we were talking about back in the day when you could just bring up a starting pitcher, implant him right there, let him start. But maybe the 2 starting pitchers that you have on the 40-man from the beginning of the season minor leagues are here. You know, they might be in the bullpen. There might be one might be starting. Liberatore, obviously one of them. So it doesn't always work like that. So then now you have to make a decision, and what they had to do last night.
It's the birthday boy. Happy birthday to Harrison Bader. He's 28. Thompson has been asked, by the way, about wearing number 57. He said it has not been lost on him, the responsibility, the significance of getting that number, what it means to so many within the organization. As Bader picks up a base hit out to left. Last couple of weeks stinging the baseball.
Well, he's really trying to stay on the ball. You can see how lightning quick his hands are. And it's a joke with him how he's only playing with third of the field basically from left field over, but he's starting to figure this out. And like I said last night, you're making a mistake by giving him a fastball to hit middle in, and they're trying to do it. And what he's doing better than he's been doing in the past was it's really just staying a little bit more calm, and that shoulder's not flying as much. And that's something that he works on constantly, and it's just because of the open stance, it's going to be a battle for him until he can get back closed. And going from open to close is always going to be tough for a hitter.
Pitch taken inside, the 9th place batter, Andrew Kisner. Joe Girardi, that awful day here at Wrigley Field, addressed the crowd when DK passed away. And Joe was relieved of his duties today with the Phillies. Fired as the manager of Philadelphia. We spent a lot of money in the offseason. Former Cub Kyle Schwarber, Castellanos, but their defense has been poor. Bullpen has been
Wonder if he's
really tough.
maybe not too sad about that. Some days you just like, get me out of here.
Remember Tony La Russa did one of our evenings with the Cardinals, and Tony mentioned an article written at that time of the Post-Dispatch, the great sports writer, one of the best, Bernie Miklasz. And the article was about DK, his family, and his father, and playing the game. And no matter what, you answer the bell. You take the ball every 5th day. If you're hurt a little bit, you find a way to play. And that is caught by Higgins.
Ooh.
You remember getting that article at your stall in the clubhouse?
In my stall, the bathroom stall or the locker stall?
Well,
whatever stall you want it to
was
be.
the locker stall.
I don't remember the article, but I know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't remember seeing it, but I remember hearing about it because I obviously lived it. So that's kind of what it was all about. When you're a player, you are expected to answer the bell. That's what I always done. You know, that's the one thing. I've never gotten hit in the hand or the wrist, but I've been hit a lot. I could never figure out why when you're playing, when you get hit in the hand or the wrist, you can't run the bases. Talking about answering the bell, like, you know, you got to think about the other guy who's sitting in there trying to get loose and having to run out there really quick.
Base hit into right, Tommy Edman.
Flying.
And Bader
Flying.
easily into third base, standing up, runners at the corners.
It's so much fun to watch the game from up here some days when those guys are running, especially these two. And Tommy hits a ball and Harry's running full throttle, about the second or third step, and he's rounding the bag, no doubter. And he's not even running hard, but look at the strides. So much fun to watch speed.
We can have a little fun here with two of the fastest players in the league on base. Bader is at third, and you've got Tommy Edman at first. Edman with 12 stolen bases. Gorman struck out swinging first time up. Wisdom is even with the bag and close to the bag at third to keep Bader somewhat tight. Edman leaning towards second, and the first pitch to Gorman. Swung on and missed, and strike one. So first time through the lineup, Marcus Stroman strikes out 4, doesn't walk a man, and gives up 3 hits.
Well, this is where Nolan's got to be a little bit careful. The veteran on the mound is going to try to use his aggressiveness against him. You still have to be patient. Don't get too greedy here, even though the wind's blowing out and you got 2 guys on, thinking you're going to get a fastball. That's the other thing that could be tricky. Hitting in front of Goldie, you can outthink yourself and, you know, think, oh, I'm going to get a fastball, I'm going to get a fastball. Well, he's not going to just give in and throw you heaters down the middle, but they're definitely not going to throw, they're not going to go around you.
There's 2 home runs. Boy, they have been prodigious blasts.
He hit him a long way, too.
That would be prodigious.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Big words. You and Brad been searching the dictionary.
Edman is running in a prodigious liner foul. Why did it take us so long to put up netting down the left and right field lines? I mean, there are so many balls like that that are.
How about the one over here?
100 plus.
The one in the Cubs dugout would have wore somebody out in about the 10th row. Seen a lot of, you know what? I've gotten a lot of messages, a lot of fan mail, a lot of people face to face that have said, hey, appreciate it. You gave me a ball one time, or you gave my son a ball one time when they were hit by a ball in batting practice.
Edman running, and he is in there safely. Stolen base number 13.
It's nonstop, and that just tells you that it happens every single day, or had happened every single day that you're at the field. Tommy with a nice jump.
Well, base hit now could tie it up. It's been caught just one time this year. Clearly in there with the left foot. And Simmons, the shortstop, going to the second base side of the bag. Outfield is straight away, and it's a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes on Nolan Gorman. And the next to him, 0 for 2 today with a pair of strikeouts, and that is 5 this afternoon for Stroman.
I think 4 out of the 5 strikeouts are that same pitch to lefties right there. That's just, it's a really tight slider. You can see it's like, oh, I got to pull the trigger, and then it disappears. Get to the point where you're facing a guy like this, you just have to take everything inside. Because you know the majority of it's going to break in. He's not throwing sinkers in at you, he's just throwing the cutter and slider in there. Everything else is fastballs away.
Here's Goldie. And the first pitch is strike, grounded out to third. And he is 0 for 1. Inning started with a base hit by Bader to left. Kisner popped out to the catcher. Edman a base hit into right. Stolen base number 13. The strikeout of Nolan Gorman. And an 0-1 pitch here to Goldschmidt. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Some gaudy numbers right there with runners on. I think the guys that do the best in driving in runs are guys that can handle the off-speed pitches.
And the 1-1. And Goldie hits it out to deep right center. This ball carries. Gone! It carries out of here. 3-run homer. Goldschmidt. On base streak at 39. Hitting streak at 25. And St. Louis on top 4-3 here in the third.
How about the location of this pitch? Down, and I'm going to have to say middle, maybe middle in. He stays inside it, stays behind it, and drives it on a line. Look at this.
Wow.
I mean, that is hitting right there. Not trying to pull that ball. If he tries to pull this pitch, he probably rolls over and hits a ground ball to third. That's impressive. Whew. That's how it's done. Rod Crew used to tell me when I first came up, the lower the pitch, the more you have to stay inside of it. And that is textbook right there.
And the Cardinals have their first lead. It's now 4-3. And the 1-0. 1 ball and 1 strike. Arenado singled to center and scored back in inning number 2. So Goldie now with 12 home runs, and he's driven in 47 as we play here on June 3rd. 47.
Incredible.
Two strikes on Arenado. It truly is one of the greatest stretches of games offensively we've ever seen.
I don't think I've seen anything like it.
That is tapped foul. At one point when he got to 15 straight, when he started looking at the extra bases, runs batted in, runs scored, slug, it had never been done in a 15-game stretch, what he did. All those categories.
It's still going?
And it's still going. So 39 straight on base and a 25-game hitting streak. Trey Turner has a 25-gamer going into play tonight. Off the plate.
But I'm willing to bet with Trey Turner, he's got
Some
few
infield hits.
Yep. Fastest guys in the league.
That's incredible. 25-game hitting streak, 24 extra bases, 10 of which have been home runs, and he's driven in 36.
It almost seems like every night it's a double, doesn't it?
Or a home run. And they, you know, it's come at key times. You had the grand slam in extra innings.
That's a key hit right there.
That hit right there with 2 outs.
Big double the other day. You're right. It's just like, it's not little bloop singles either. He's killing balls. And he's smiling. That's something that you don't see every day.
I think that's a 6-gamer. The 2-2. Arenado with a fly ball out to shallow right center. And the catch made by Ortega as it blew back to him. Goldie got it in the air just enough. And a line shot over the wall in right center. Cardinals on top. Began April 22nd, and 25 games with a hit. Started on May 7th, and the 3-run homer hit by Goldschmidt. Cardinals on top 4-3.
I think you don't realize, like, even both of those things. And you think of the on-base streak, right? Could be a walk, hit by batter, or hit by pitch. What is it? And you can do it with an error and a hit. That's still hard to do. I mean, there's going to be a dominant game by a pitcher, and you're only going to get 3 at-bats maybe one night, and you got to get on base one of those 3.
Yep.
I mean,
it's incredible.
Going to be one of those days. And yet he just keeps on rolling.
0-2 the count. Top of the lineup, Christopher Morel. Pitchers have tried to be careful with this young man. Seeing the lowest amount of pitches inside the strike zone among all rookies in the game.
Trying to get a chase. Free swinger maybe.
Shift on the left side, and the 0-2 just missed outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ortega on deck, and then Ian Happ.
Give a quick shout out to Larry Walker watching the game at home today. It's like he's always watching.
Because he is.
He sent me a picture the other day playing golf with Mr. Trump. I thought that was pretty cool.
The 2-2. And a ground ball off the glove of Arenado and into left field. On base streak continues for Morel to begin his career. Leadoff single.
It's a tough play right here. And to the casual fan, you can see that Nolan tips this ball, but this is a hit all the way if Nolan doesn't catch it. No way Tommy can throw the ball from deep, short left field and throw out the hitter right there, Morel. But you know, you look at it and say, oh, well, he tipped it. Well, that was your only chance.
There's Rafael Ortega, fly to left. First time up. Cardinals turned a double play back in the 2nd inning. That pitch taken high. Arenado is even with the bag, off the line at 3rd. Goldie holding. Edman is near the 2nd base bag. Big gap in right center. And there's a strike. And it's a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Nice crowd. The bleachers are full here at Wrigley Field. We're expecting even bigger crowds this weekend. The doubleheader tomorrow. And we'll have game 1 for you. 2 strikes on Ortega.
It's interesting they're playing him in the outfield the other way, and the infield to pull. I think if I'm in the outfield, I'm playing the wind a little bit more, thinking that if the ball's hit in the air to right center field, it's going to get away from me faster. The ball hit in the left center field, I can run it down a little bit more. So would not necessarily want to play so far over into left center field.
And the 1-2. 2-2.
Got to play the fade, so to speak, huh?
Understood, yeah. I've talked to you many times about playing here, but every half inning when you go out there defensively, you have to look at the flags.
Every couple. We were watching. There it is right there.
And a base hit. Charging it is Bader, and his throw wisely into 2nd base. So back-to-back singles, and the batter will be Ian Happ. Speed Morel, no chance to get him at 3rd.
No, not at all. Maybe if he was shifted over a little bit to right center. And the way everyone plays so deep now, it's tough to throw anyone out.
Initially, it looked like he wanted to, started to shift the body that way, and then looked up and saw where he was.
Yeah. We were doing a game, and it was, I think it was Yepes was throwing the grass up in the air. It was in maybe Frisco, like every other pitch. The wind was changing directions.
Oh, yeah.
And he just kept throwing grass up and grass up and grass up. I'm thinking, that's pretty smart for a guy who usually plays first base.
It's a pretty good date in St. Louis Cardinals history concerning that guy. June 3rd of 2004. In place of Mike Matheny was Yadier Molina. Makes his major league debut, the fresh-faced Yadi. And a sign of things to come. Went 2 for 4, scored a run. It was a win. And the Kia player profile concerning Yadier Molina. Moving up the charts on the all-time list with primary catchers, 8th in games, 7th in hits, 9 Gold Gloves, and nearly 18,000 innings caught.
I love seeing those old videos.
Wow. There's a 1-0 pitch, pulled foul off the bat of Ian Happ. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. It's be fascinating to see what the Cubs do with guys like their starter today, Stroman, Ian Happ, some of the pieces they have in their bullpen as they rebuild. Will it blow back into fair territory? It might. Coming on and sliding for it was Dickerson. Can't make the catch.
Wow, that was close. I actually think he might have had that in his glove for a split second. That is a tough play coming in like that. He caught it and just couldn't hang on to it, I think. And it's just.
It was in the glove.
And that's a long run to come up short.
It's close to being a fair ball, too. Oh, he almost had it. Nope. You can see there it bounced. That would have been one of those reviewable plays, too. Past the third base umpire. And it's popped up. Will this blow back into territory? It does. And the catch made by Arenado, battling the sun. Big out.
A lot of things to play with in this ballpark. You get the wind, you get the sun. The fans throwing stuff at you in the outfield.
Well, the DH today is Frank Schwindel with the wind really starting to pick up.
Well, look at it now. It's blowing more from center to right. It's kind of shifted a little bit. No, I remembered playing here that when you drive to the ballpark, if the lake is flat, the wind is blowing in. And if the lake is rough, thumbs up for a good hitting day. Because then the wind will be onshore versus offshore, and it literally changes. The lake looks like an ocean when the wind's blowing out here at Wrigley.
Schwindel is hit into 4 double plays, maybe 5. Arenado, though, can't get it out of the glove. And a run will score to tie it up at 4. Great effort there by Nolan.
About Torres' backup right there. That is one heck of a play to even stop that.
I just hope his back is all right. That bent over a little bit.
He caught that ball was a little awkward. I mean, this ball's by him when he catches it. Look at this.
He gets it cleanly out of the glove. That would have been close to turning 2.
Let's hope he's okay.
So that ties the game at 4-4. 2 runners on. And Patrick Wisdom. Cardinals have turned with 1 turn back in the first inning. 46 double plays on the ground. That's 3rd most in baseball. At the 0-1. Schwindel, that is his 27th that he has driven in. And he's 3 back of the man at the plate for the team lead. Wisdom with 30. Outfield deep. The 1-1. 1-2.
Given a little room out there today. second or third pitch I've seen outside off the plate for a strike.
Michaelis is set with 2 runners on, and the 1-2 pitch swung on and missed.
Good pitch.
Strikeout number 2. Chevy pitch tracks. The second strikeout for Michaelis.
It's a really good pitch. You know, he's thinking a little bit about covering the outside, but he also has to pay attention to the fastball inside. You can't do both. Michaelis makes a really nice pitch.
This is year 7 of an 8-year contract signed by Jason Hayward. Kisner, nice play to keep that in front.
Wow.
It's well done. Boy, there's an art to that, isn't it? Almost catching the ball with your body.
It's especially a 50-footer. Ball.
And a breaking ball with a spin.
The spin is going to bounce, so you just try to turn your chest towards wherever the ball is going to shoot. Turn it the opposite direction and try to push it back towards the plate. You get in front of that and it bounces off sideways. It shoots over into the dugout.
Here's a 1-0 pitch inside. So including today, there have been 34 homers hit in the last 9 games at Wrigley. And you got the wind picking up. So this could be one of those wild days back and forth.
We know it also too is the scoreboard up there, you know, really gives a little bit of a break from the wind blowing across. And I always thought it was interesting hitting here because you could hit line drives that could be, you know, maybe a gapper, maybe close to being a home run. It gets up in the seats here 4, 5, 6 rows deep. Then you crush one and the wind takes control and blows it down. But, you know, guys that hit line drives, this place is a great place to hit because you can always stay underneath the wind with, you know, anyone that hits a high fly ball, the wind plays with it a little bit. But those line drive hitters like Goldie, that's a gold mine here.
That's a line drive that turned into a home run.
I mean, I think that's a homer here regardless, but that same ball to left field is a homer. But if you hit it a little higher, then the wind slows it down. And you know, it's just interesting when you can hit pop-ups and they'll blow out, and you can hit bombs and they'll blow back. And that kind of medium line drive, especially now with the scoreboards they have, really jumping out of the ballpark.
So 3-2, 2 outs, and the runner's off with his next pitch. Schwindel at first, Ortega good speed at second. There they go, and it's spoiled by Hayward.
Well, I mean, you can even see, you know, for me and you, looking at the left field foul pole, the flags are blowing pretty good. Center field, the flags are blowing pretty good, but in right field, they don't blow as hard because I think that it cuts down the wind a little bit with that new scoreboard.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. And a ground ball hit to second baseman Brendan Donovan. Cubs pick up a run. They strand 2, their first 2 of the day, and we're tied 4-4. Big League Impact, and you can register to get your spot. I'll be emceeing that night. A lot of the players will be out there. A chance to meet and greet. BigLeagueImpact.org. That's a Sunday, June 12th. And Adam has got his trivia night tonight, the virtual trivia night. So good luck to Adam and to all those that are participating tonight to help a great cause.
Lots of fun. Lots of fun. I was out there for the Pujols thing. Be out there for the Wainwright thing.
There's Brendan Donovan. Struck out his first time up. Fouled back. Going after that first pitch. Don't see him do that all that much. Going after a first pitch. But boy, has he been a big reason the Cardinals come in 29-22. So when Thompson debuts, that's 9 players on a team that is 7 games above the 500 mark.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You know, you said that earlier, and you think, oh, you know, the last couple of years it's kind of changed, right? They've manipulated the rosters a little bit, the double headers, the COVID, and a lot of guys have been injured, and a lot of prospects that they can call up. But for a team that's winning, you don't see that as often.
No,
but
sure.
the reason why this team is winning is because they have those prospects to call up. So why not, bring somebody up with a fresh arm? Don't beat somebody up. Don't overuse someone.
I think it's a credit to Mo and his staff and those in the minor leagues. Gary LaRocque.
How about that Randy Flores guy?
Randy Flores drafting the right guys. Draft is coming up. It'll be during the All-Star break. They've done a terrific job. You can get the players, but you have to develop them. The 2-2. Jackson Holliday, left-handed batter and the son of Matt Holliday in certain projections. Expected to go number 1, and if not him, it might be Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones' son. What was that? 1-2.
And the 3-2 pitch to Donovan. Here it comes.
I was watching some highlights of Andrew's son, and he's obviously drawn a lot of publicity being good, and Andrew's son. And I was watching a video of them chanting "overrated," and he hit a bomb.
I saw that as
So
well.
I texted Andrew and I said, "How are you handling this?" He goes, "I stay away."
Probably the best thing to do.
Well, I was asking it for advice, the same thing with kids, right? And you're always just like looking for someone else's ideas. And it was like, I let him play the game and then we talk after. I said, that's a great, obviously, because you know how it is. Even when you're watching these guys play, you're kind of like, some guys get an unfair, kind of showing or an unfair break or whatever. And you're like, wait, that's not. You're sticking up for your players, and it's hard when it's your own kid. I just thought it was interesting to hear what he had to say.
On the 8th pitch of the at-bat, taken for a strike. It's 6 today for Stroman. While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Lots of new little firsts to keep up with means less time for banking. Good thing you can check your balance with a text and get back to all of life's little firsts with Great Southern Text Banking.
I think if Matt's kids weren't as involved and successful in baseball and their endeavors and going to professional ball, and that is hit out to deep right field. Looking up, Hayward, goodbye. Corey Dickerson, his first home run as a Cardinal. We mentioned the very good numbers he's had against Stroman coming into play. It continues here in Game 2 of this series. Dickerson is first as a Cardinal. He's driven in 10, and the Cardinals back on top 5-4.
It's just a nice, easy one-handed swing. I think this is an oddball matchup for him to have big numbers. You think Stroman, with the stuff that he has, could mix and match against, you've seen Dickerson with the big swing, the short swing right here, just perfect. What a great camera.
And here is Newtbar, RBI double with 2 outs back in the second.
How about that camera angle right there? That was beautiful.
The super slow-mo, Jimmy.
Those are the ones I think we need to use and develop players, because I think sometimes players, kids of all ages, don't understand.
Boy, look at him get his hands
inside
in there.
that.
Yep.
Players don't understand how deep sometimes you actually are hitting the ball or need to hit the ball.
And a ground ball to Rivas. Steps on the bag for the out.
We saw that with Tommy yesterday when he hit the ball to left field, how deep in the box the contact was. It was almost, back between his legs. And sometimes to hit the ball the other way, you have to let it travel and you got to stay behind it.
Impressive numbers there for Corey Dickerson against this right-hander. Marcus Stroman, and now it's Bader. Single to left and scored in the 3-run homer hit by Goldschmidt in the 3rd inning. Just to finish the point, by the way, on Matt Holliday, if his kids had not been as successful as they have been, I think you'd see Matt probably down in uniform in some role, some form, some fashion.
Oh, yes.
And that may happen when the kids get a little bit older. We'll see. There's a 1-0 pitch. And Bader looks at a strike, and it's 1-1.
It's funny, Jackson and Ethan, I think, are about 4 years apart, if I'm not correct. And Ethan's already 2 inches taller than Jackson. He's a big kid. Jackson's a little bit more wiry, but always been the better player.
And the base hit into shallow right. Harrison Bader 2 for 2. Let's see if he wants to do some running. Cardinals had a stolen base earlier. Tommy Edman is 13th. And that's tied with Harrison Bader for the team lead. Now, if you're Kisner, do you take a pitch, maybe 2? Give Harrison a chance at it. He's going on the first pitch. He's taking, and it's not even close. Stolen base number 14.
I would take 1 pitch and let him run on the first pitch if it was me. But
he was 1 to 5
slow to the plate.
And that means you have no chance to get that guy.
No, not even close.
So a pair of stolen bases for the Cardinals today. And Kisner picks up a base hit out to left. Bader will score
easily.
And Kisner is 1 for 2, drives in his 11th, and it's a 2-run St. Louis lead. 2-out rally, and nice work by Harrison Bader. He is a good player, ball game.
Yes, he is. Let's see what we got here. Just a little nothing slider. It's a good job by Kisner right there. That is a ball he would have tried to hit too hard last year and the year before and popped up or swung through, and he's made such a nice adjustment at the plate. Just concentrating on putting the ball in play, driving the ball gap to gap. And he's such a better hitter now, and that is a huge run.
Cardinals with 8 hits this far today. And it brings in Tommy Edman. Tommy is 1 for 2, runs scored and a stolen base. There's strike 1.
He's still really slow to the plate there. I think I saw a 1.9 in his and some stat sheets somewhere for him. A 1.9 to the plate. Even with a guy on second, that's a long time.
Sometimes he'll do that long hesitation, even out of the stretch. Base hit, Tommy Edman. Extends the inning to Nolan Gorman.
I'm telling you, we're going to see the shift disappear in front of our eyes before MLB switches it around.
It's 3 consecutive 2-out base hits. And Stroman has allowed 9 hits and 6 runs in this game. Nobody throwing in the Cubs bullpen. Remember, they had a doubleheader to start this week. That was on Monday, and then you have another one tomorrow. So they could be dealing with some pitching issues as well as we go into the 2 games tomorrow.
Well, for sure. And he's only got 68 pitches. I mean, you can't, this isn't time to take him out. You just got to slow him down, maybe get him back on track.
Star Wars Night, presented by Topps Trading Card Company, returns to Busch Wednesday, June 15th. And the purchase of a special themed ticket, get an exclusive Star Wars themed baseball t-shirt. Star Wars Night, Cardinals.com/theme. Crowds have been very, very good to start this season. Nolan Gorman 0 for 2, and he takes a pitch outside. Stroman does not want to see Paul Goldschmidt come up with runners on.
No, I don't think he's going to give in to Gorman either. He's going to try to move the ball around and throw some off-speed pitches. You see that first pitch was a changeup.
6 runs, the most that Stroman has allowed since his 3rd start of the season. That was against Tampa Bay. He allowed a season-high 8, 7 of which were earned that day. And the 1-1 off the plate, 2 balls and 1 strike. So with 2 outs today, Cardinals 5 for 7, Cubs 2 for 4, combined 8 runs batted in. Shift on the right side and a 2-1 pitch to Nolan Gorman. Fouled back.
His first couple strikeouts with those pitches down and in. I feel like it's got Gorman a little hesitant, trying not to swing at a ball versus trying to be aggressive.
The 2-2.
Right back to it again.
It's a pitch he struck out on.
See, he's cut down his swing a little bit, but he's also, missed a couple pitches because of that, maybe trying to be a little too perfect.
Two outs, 2 on, and a 2-2 pitch. Full count. What do you think? Fastball? I think he's going to get something to hit right here. And the 3-2 pitch. Fouled back. Cubs have already been dealing with injuries. Their pitching staff. Alec Mills, strained quadricep. Wade Miley, a shoulder issue. Drew Smiley, oblique. And so they have been hit with the injury bug. Runners off with the pitch again, and the 3-2 to Nolan Gorman. Long look by Stroman. Here it comes. And Gorman hits it out of play. Ninth pitch of the at bat coming up, and pitch number 77 in the ball game from Marcus Stroman. Wind has really picked up to right, and a 3-2 pitch. Here it comes, and Gorman hits it a ton. Out to deep right. How about way out of here? Holy smokes! More than halfway up the bleachers, and a 3-run bomb from the rookie.
Listen to that crowd. Put some red shirts on their feet, huh?
How about the home run?
That's going to have to be someone's going to have to hit the cutoff man to throw that one back onto the field.
Wow.
Another great camera angle right there. Look at that.
And it's a 9-4 St. Louis lead. Inning started tied at 4, and Nolan Gorman a 3-run shot. Goldie has a 3-run shot today, and Dickerson a home run. The 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. That backs up for a ball inside, and a count of 2-1 on Goldie. On base streak at 39, hitting streak now at 25 after the home run back in the 3rd inning. The 2-1. 3-1. Nolan Arenado on deck.
See, the velocity with Stroman's gone down a lot.
And the 3-1 hit out of play. Mark Leiter Jr., right-hander, begins to throw. And the Cubs bullpen carries 6 righties, 2 lefties. And the 3-2. I mean, that's not a bad pitch on 3-2, and he's able to hang in there.
Well, I think that this whole thing with Gorman hitting in front of Goldie bought Gorman a fastball in that situation right there. And then, now you got to deal with him with nobody on, but he still doesn't want to pitch to him. It's so hot.
Good at bat. And the 9th man to come to the dish here in the top of the 4th. So the inning started with a strikeout of Donovan, home run Dickerson, Newpark grounded out, and then 4 hits in a row and now a walk. 5 straight have reached with 2 outs. Arenado is 1 for 2, singled on an 0-2 pitch to center and scored back in the 2nd inning. Cardinals lead it 9-4. A windy day here at Wrigley. First pitch to Nolan Arenado. Take it for a strike. 5th game this season, the Cardinals have hit 3 home runs in a ball game. Goldschmidt with 3 stolen bases on the year. Stroman pretty slow to the plate. And Arenado hits it out of play. You think some guys, when they see the wind blowing as hard as it is to right, that they're good enough to get a ball in the air by design, not a lefty, but a righty, and try to hit it the other way?
Well, I think what you do is you just try to stay back a little bit longer and kind of just try and stay inside out. You can't dive, you can't force, but you definitely can stay back. But I don't think that you need to in this ballpark because it's not a very big ballpark and it's not short enough to flip balls over there. But yeah, you definitely want to try to hit the ball up in the air in the wind.
Off the plate, and it's 1-2.
For example, this isn't like in Houston where you're going after the Crawford boxes where it's super, or the wall in Boston. You just try to stay back and drive the ball in the air.
8 of the 9 runs scored today by the Cardinals, they have come with 2 outs. And the 1-2 pitch popped up. Wind may take that out of play, and it will. Ooh, and almost right on the head of gentleman wearing a Kyle Schwarber jersey. Whew, that was close. Well, you're not even midway through this game, and 9 runs at this ballpark with the wind blowing out like this. You're not safe.
Yeah, you're definitely not safe.
2-2. Good pick there by Higgins, the catcher today. Contreras, you remember, last night was hit on the ankle, and so he's not even serving as the DH. Pitch number 41 of the inning. And the 2-2. Arenado a swing and a miss. And a shoulder shrug. A strikeout for Stroman. 2 in the inning, 7 in the game. But Nolan Gorman, the rookie, with his 3rd home run in the bigs. A no-doubter. 5-run inning for St. Louis. And Albert loves it.
Cardinals the lead over the Cubs thanks to Nolan Gorman with that monster 3-run home run. Not the first time he has hit a home run here, though, at Wrigley. Back in 2017, he was part of the Under Armour All-America game. He had a hit in that game, but he also participated in the home run, which he won in walk-off style. He went on to beat a couple of top prospects in the country for that home run and enjoyed a walk-off celebration with water, Gatorade, and obviously a big hug from Matthew Liberatore, who also participated in that event. Guys, he won 3 home run derbies that summer, but said this was his favorite. Danny?
Pretty cool to be back here now in the big leagues and hitting bombs.
I would say so.
And the 1-1 is a base hit into right. Off the bat of P.J. Higgins. So 7, 8, and 9 for the Cubs here in their half of the 4th, with the Cardinals leading 9-4. Second time that Higgins has been aboard to go along with a walk. Alfonso Rivas.
Be a fun place for home run derby, wouldn't you think?
Oh, if the ball is carrying.
Yeah, hopefully the wind's blowing out. Just think back to the.
And Rivas, it's a high fly ball out to left. Dickerson with the catch. And back to the bag at first goes Higgins. Cardinals Magazine is there for you. Don't miss a special subscription offer featuring an exclusive Waino Yachty tribute t-shirt. See pictured there. Cardinals.com/magazine or call 314-345-9000.
I think back to some of the home run derbies when Griffey hit the building in Baltimore. Sosa hit one in the upper deck in Atlanta and off the back wall in center field. And then McGuire was hitting balls across the street in Boston. Can you imagine how far some of those balls would have gone here? I mean, the ball that McGuire were hitting in Boston would have gone over the rooftop buildings across the street here. And
easily.
Griffey probably would have hit one into the seats over there.
Lined and caught by Donovan.
I think that ball hit Michaelis.
Might have slowed it down a little bit.
Looked like it did. Little tip of the glove.
And 2 outs. Christopher Morel.
Looked like it changed directions a little bit, didn't it?
A little bit. Definitely slowed down. Morel is grounded out to second. Single to left and scored. A base hit off the glove of Nolan Arenado back in the 3rd inning. So 2 outs, runner at first, and strike 1. Nothing in 2. So 3 home runs hit by the Cardinals today. 3-run homer by Goldschmidt in the 3rd. 3-run homer by Gorman. Solo home run by Dickerson. That was his 3rd career homer off of Stroman. That's tied for the most home runs that Corey has hit off a specific pitcher. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. Cardinals fell behind 3-0 on a 3-run homer by Patrick Wisdom. And the 1-2 evens it up at 2-2.
Like he's throwing a lot of off-speed pitches that are around the zone today instead of through the zone. So 80 pitches in the 4th inning seems like a lot for him. Unusually a lot.
If the Cardinals would back him off a little bit today after 115 in the previous start, but you're also thinking about tomorrow in a doubleheader.
Like bad timing. This guy's a workhorse, though. He's always working out, thinks about taking care of himself. I mean, every time I see him, he's in the gym or stretching or doing something to better himself. And I'm pretty sure he's one of the elite guys as far as shape goes on this team, if not in the league. And so I figure if anyone can do it, he can do it.
I like how Ali has pushed his starters.
Well, if they're showing you they can do it, why not?
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid of it.
Runner goes on the 3-2, and that'll be a called 3rd strike. 3rd strikeout for Michaelis. We head to the 5th. This ball brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. BJC Healthcare, the world's best medicine made better. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Beautiful city of Chicago and Lake Michigan, 9-4 in favor of the Cardinals as we move to the top of the 5th. And Marcus Stroman knocked out of the game And this is Mark Leiter Jr., the right-hander, in for the Cubs. Cardinals sent 9 to the plate last inning. And here is Brendan Donovan. Donovan today 0 for 2. Couple of strikeouts. He had reached base 9 times in his last 4 games with 4 hits and 5 walks. Inside. And it's a count of 1 ball and 1 strike.
How about the Leiter family? Not only do you have 2 brothers that go to the big leagues, both of their sons now, one in the big leagues and one destined for stardom. Pretty awesome.
Here's the 1-1, and Donovan has a base hit into center. Cardinals 11 hits.
Pretty good swing right here. It pitches out over the plate a little bit. Goes and gets it. Gosh, I do not love this guy right now.
Mark Leiter Jr., his 7th appearance. He's actually made 3 starts for the Cubs, so they could extend him a little bit in this game.
I played with his dad. His dad was fiery, man. Woo.
Here's Dickerson, who is homered today.
Do you remember ever seeing him play? He was
yeah.
the one that always yelled in his glove.
I've seen a lot of guys do that.
Well,
we work with one of them.
Bradley. It's not the glove's fault, Brad.
Well, I was thinking about Hungo.
Him too? I think Brad had a little Hungo in him.
He did for sure.
Stand back there behind the mound and fire himself up.
I'd like to bring up the story. I don't think Brad does, but Brad knocked himself out after a rough outing at Fenway Park. He was so mad he punched himself and literally knocked himself out briefly. As Brad will tell you, he said, I had some anger issues, but I'm over those now. The 1-1. Dickerson is homered today. His first as a Cardinal back in the 4th, and struck out 1 for 2. Brad's a good guy and a lot of fun.
I can't believe he let that out of the bag. Knocked himself out.
Brad was saying he still doesn't know if he hits that hard or just can't take a punch.
Well, he's definitely mellowed out. Well, I mean, maybe not mellowed out, but the anger issues aren't there.
Now he's nice and calm.
Until he turns into Radio Brad, and then he's lots of energy.
And lots of info.
Hopefully he doesn't get down on himself on the radio. It'll be a silent, silent partner.
The lefties against Leiter hitting well below 200. The righties, though, well above 300. Dickerson had the base hit to start the inning, and the 1-2 is swung on and missed, and a strikeout. So Donovan, your runner at first, the strikeout of Dickerson. And the batter will be Newbar, who is doubled, picked up a run batted in the 2nd inning and grounded out.
Well, Danny Leiter's another one of those guys that throws some splits to the lefties, but he won't throw them very often to the righties, and that could be the X factor for a left-handed hitter. And then one less thing you have to worry about if you're a right-handed hitter.
And the first pitch to Newbar. He bunts it. Donovan was running and out at first.
Wow.
Very close at first.
That was one more bounce away from being a great bunt base hit. He just did not push it to the line enough. And Mark Leiter Jr. made a really nice play. I mean, it doesn't get more bang bang than that. Wow.
Just got him. So now it is Bader, who is 2 for 2. Single to left, single to right. Picked up his 14th stolen base. And scored on a base hit by Andrew Kisner. Much of that damage last inning done with 2 outs, and 8 of the 9 runs have been scored with 2 outs by the Cardinals today. And the first pitch taken for a strike. 2-out RBI. Boy, they are killers. Wow. And the Cardinals trailing only the Mets and the Brewers.
Look at today. 8 of them with 2 outs today. All the damage.
And the 0-1 pitch.
It's a good take.
A little bit
right
low.
There. Good take by Harry right there. You see that? A little bit of an idea right there. He sees the spin. I'm telling you, when this young man turns the corner, it's tough to be a right-handed hitter in this league, but he's slowly figuring it out. When he does, look out.
The 1-1. Kisner on deck. Stroman today, 4 innings, 9 runs, 10 hits allowed, as he struck out 7, walked 1, but gave up 3 home runs, a pair of 3-run homers and a solo shot. The 2-1 inside, 3-1. Game number 52 today for the Cardinals. They are 29-22, 3 games back of Milwaukee in the Central. 3-1. Bader sharply to shortstop Andrelton Simmons, and he makes the play. Cardinals strand their second runner. They've got 11 hits through 5 innings, and they lead at 9-4. Game 2 at 5:30 Sunday Night Baseball, and Game 1 tomorrow on Bally Sports Midwest. After that, off day Monday, and we'll be with you Tuesday from Tampa. 9-4. Cardinals with the lead. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup for the Cubs. Ortega, Happ, and Schwindel. Pitch count at 82 for Michaelis. Boy, you'd love to see 2 more innings if you could.
I was going to say, this is a good spot for him to try to get through a quick inning so he can get into that next inning after that. We'd love to see it get through at least 6. That wind's really starting to howl, too. It's going to be not only tough keeping the ball in the yard, but tough catching fly balls.
Already seen that today.
Well, normally the pitcher doesn't have to run over and cover that kind of ground. Try to catch a ball in foul territory.
Ortega is 1 for 2 today. The 0-2 pitch hit the other way and a base hit. Sometimes you just tip your cap and a good piece of hitting.
That's all you can do right there.
7th hit for the Cubs today. Ian Happ will be the batter.
Just perfect little. Well, that's a little changeup right there. Little BP sinker. Threw it perfectly and hit it perfectly.
Well, 3rd time through a lineup, the opposition hitting .295, 4 home runs against Miles Michaelis, and that's hit out of play. I'm sure Willie McGee is reminding, as he saw it so many times as a player, but reminding his outfielders, you cannot give up on a fly ball.
No, especially left field. I mean,
exactly.
There's a lot of balls that will not go into the stands. That's the other thing too. I think, like, when I look at the outfield, it's like they're not playing the elements as much as you would think they would. And you know, Bader in left center and Newt's kind of playing straight up, if not to pull a little bit. And there's just a huge gap in right center field.
1-2 the count. Crowd today 32,482. 3-2, 4-8-2. The 1-2 taken high. Happ has an infield hit and scored a run back in the 1st, and the home run by Wisdom. And then with 2 on and nobody out, he popped out into foul territory into the glove of Arenado back in the 3rd. And Happ lines it off the glove of Nolan Arenado again. And a force play thrown wide. But the runners do not advance. Boy, Nolan with some tough luck today.
Yeah, you know, and Miles had him set up for the fastball inside the pitch before and missed, and he tried to do it again and threw it over the plate. But I'll tell you what, with all that going on, the overthrow that goes past the bag, let me just show you where Paul Goldschmidt is for this. This is incredible. Look, he sees what's going on, and he goes and backs up the play. Are you kidding me right there? If he doesn't do that, that ball goes into the right field or over to the right field stands and bounces around in there, and all the runners keep moving.
Fundamentals.
That's not even fundamentals. That's just baseball IQ. As soon as he threw that ball past second base, I thought we were in trouble. And before I could get my eyes to it, Goldie's standing right there.
Think about his base running this past week, leading to runs. Goldschmidt, outside of just the obvious and the huge numbers that he's putting up at the plate.
Talk about taking a ticket. That is the opposite, extreme opposite of watching the game. That is knowing the game. A lot of guys do it, but it's amazing when you can watch it day in and day out.
Well, Drew Verhagen has started to throw for the Cardinals. I would say his importance has been elevated after the homestand in which he came in bases loaded against McCutchen, got out of that jam against Milwaukee with a ground out. And then in the extra inning game against the Padres.
Both of those guys down there really stepped it up.
You're talking about Andre Palante, and we may see him as a starter tomorrow. Cardinals are unsure which direction they're going to go.
Going to have to get through today first.
Yep.
This is a long way from being over.
Here's Schwindel. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. He has an RBI single on a diving attempt by Nolan Arenado, kept it on the infield, but that led to a run.
Talked about yesterday about this team hasn't won a lot at Wrigley this year, and that's why I was saying I feel as a visitor it's so hard to win here. And this is an example. You think about they got 9 runs on the board, you're 5 runs up, but you got nobody out, 2 guys on, and a 3-0 count. You're 1 swing away from being, you know, in a 1-2 run game.
So 2 on, 3-0 pitch, and the base is loaded. That's a 3rd walk issued by Miles. You don't see that very often. And the bases are loaded.
The wrong guy coming up.
And nobody out. Patrick Wisdom coming up. Wisdom, a 3-run homer back in the 1st inning. You'd love to see Michaelis go deeper. Probably not going to happen today. 11 times in the past 16 games, the bullpen has had to give you at least 4 innings. Twice in the past 12 days, relievers pitched all 9 innings of a game. So the base is loaded. And the first pitch is strike.
This will be a Houdini act right here if he can get through it. This is a huge, huge inning. Bases loaded and nobody out. This is one of those innings you have to minimize the damage or you're in trouble as a team.
Infield is back, and the 0-1. Nothing in 2. Wisdom struck out swinging back in the 3rd. 3 strikeouts for Miles today. In his career, he does have 1 grand slam, 320 the average, couple of doubles with the bases loaded. And the 0-2 pitch, fouled back. The base is loaded, and another 0-2 pitch. Taken for a ball, 1-2. So pitch number 99 coming up from Michaelis.
Guess we spoke too soon. Like to see him get through this inning and the next, and now you're just hoping to get through this inning without too many runs given up.
Well, you certainly can get the strikeout against the Cubs. Strikeout rate 24%, fourth highest in the National League. You know, you think about a strikeout, maybe the double play.
Well,
who knows?
I think you're in the right spot too, because Wisdom with the strikeout or the double play, but he hits the ball in the air a lot. But Hayward definitely is a ground ball candidate and the strikeout candidate. So take your pick.
The 2-2 popped up. Kisner near the screen, and it's blowing back, but not far enough.
That ball went above the stadium, came back in the wind. 30 people standing up trying to figure out where it's going to land, and the only guy not looking hits him right in the knee.
Can't give up on it.
Beware of bats and balls flying through the stands. I always love that sign.
And the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. Strikeout number 4 and a big one for Michaelis. Plaza Tire Service pitch tracks.
It's a good pitch right here. This is a made-up, basically slower breaking ball. And I think he threw it off the plate for a reason. Giving him the chase right there, and that's just a really well-executed pitch. I'm sure he would like it a little bit closer, but when the guy's going to chase, you can kind of throw it out there and rely on that.
Here's Hayward. And the first pitch to him, taken for a ball inside. Jason Hayward has hit a soft liner to first, caught by Goldschmidt. And with 2 runners on in the third, grounded out to second to end the inning. There's back-to-back hits. Ortega, Happ, Schwindel walked. And it's 1-1 on Jason Hayward after the strikeout of Patrick Wisdom.
So far this year, his cold zones are in. Up and in, down and in, and down and away.
And that is fouled back. Seen a lot. You can get Hayward to roll over. You can get him there. You can also tie him up. He stands really far off the plate and had been doing that by design earlier in the season. Now he has crept a little bit closer towards the plate, but you see that front leg, it's almost
way out there
to the chalk of the box. Hayward, a .242 hitter with 3 grand slams in this spot in his career. He's grounded into 7 double plays. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But he is really far away from the plate. The 2-2. And Hayward hits it in the air. Shallow right coming on. Nootbaar, but the catch made by Donovan. And the throw to the plate. It's a double play. He got him. Back to the infield. Catch made. Strike to the plate. Brendan Donovan. Bases loaded. Nobody out. And the Cubs do not score. The rookie. He's done a little bit of everything. And a strike to Kisner. And it's 9-4. Ages 16 and older take home a Molina or Waino championship ring. Thanks to Ameren, Illinois, Cardinals.com/promotions. If Nootbaar makes that catch, I don't think the Cubs tag up. But with Donovan back to the infield, momentum taking him away from home plate, you take the chance.
Yeah, I think you have to take the chance. But I think that It almost looked like he was going no matter what, but Newpar's got to catch that ball and make that throw in that situation no matter what. I mean, not to take anything away from what happened, but 99 out of 100, that ball's got to be caught by the right fielder. You don't realize how tough that is on the second baseman. And the thing, I wouldn't have said that unless
Especially
I saw
with the wind,
the
too.
replay. When I see the replay and you see the right fielder slow down, and then he almost, as he's slowing down, he's almost even with the second baseman. You see how much easier of a play that is for him. Glad it worked out.
And a 2-0 pitch now to Andrew Kisner, up and in, 3-0.
Here's what gets me right here. Watch Newt. See, he slows down, and then he's almost even with him. He kind of loses track of what's going on sometimes out there, and he's got to know. Obviously, he knows it's his ball, but he's just thinking, oh, he's got it. The throw is the most important part, I think, of that.
Well, the Cardinals received their second walk, and Leiter shaking his head in his second inning of work. Cardinals with 11 hits today and 9 runs, and they lead it 9-4 here in the top of the 6th. Tommy Edman is 2 for 3, runs scored, stolen base number 13. And the first pitch, and that's 5 straight balls to start the inning. Packy Naughton is throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. Base hit into right. Kisner took a peek to right, and he's going to run on Hayward. No chance for Jason there. And runners at the corners, and again the Cardinals going first to third.
Nice job right there. No hesitation at all. Just looked to the right field and went the whole way.
The BJC Healthcare difference maker, Nolan Gorman, with 2 outs and a 3-run blast. High into the bleachers and right here at Wrigley. And his first road home run in the big leagues. So walk a single, 2 runners on, and nobody out. And the Cardinals trying to add to their 5-run lead.
I think he's got another one in him right here.
You like this matchup?
Yes, I do.
The first pitch to Gorman. Running, no surprise, Tommy Edman. Did he stay on the bag? If he did, it is stolen base number 14.
These guys are making this look easy, aren't they?
Yep. Infield drawn in, shift on the right side, and an 0-1. Gorman pops it up left side, and the catch will be made by Simmons, the shortstop.
Got a little excited right there on that breaking ball.
And now you have Goldie with runners at second and third. Grounded out to third his first time up. 3-run homer in the third, his 12th of the year. He's now driven in 47. He walked in the fourth, so the on-base streak at 39. Hitting streak at 25. Infield in, hitting lanes everywhere.
I don't pitch to him right here. I don't.
Take your chances with Nolan?
I just, the way these two guys are going right now, Nolan's scuffling a little bit. I think he's kind of feeling for the ball a little bit today. And I mean, of course, Goldie can make outs, but he's the hottest player on the planet right now.
First pitch dropped in for his strike, the 0-1. 1-1 the count.
I mean, there's no meeting at the mound, right? So there's no game plan that's special other than this is how we're going to pitch him. So taking your chances. I could see if they went out there and said, hey, let's do it this way. And if he doesn't bite, then we're fine.
The 1-1. Foul ball. We got away with that pitch, too.
Right down the middle.
So Michaelis was able to pitch out of the bases loaded jam with nobody out. The Cubs did not score. Now the Cardinals trying to add on.
Goldie just got a little wider at the feet, a little lower with the body.
And the 1-2 kept in front by Higgins. 2-2. Goldie is just now one home run back of the leaders with 13. And he's at 12, so just one back.
Took him how many weeks to get the first one? 3 or 4?
Yeah. Just been on a tear. And the 2-2 pitch to Goldie. Hit out of play. Zach Thompson begins to get loose in the St. Louis bullpen. Thinking maybe if you extend the lead, you'd feel comfortable with the young man coming in, potentially making his major league debut. If not, then you're looking at Packy Naughton. So there's Thompson there on the left, and his heart about ready to come out of his chest.
Oh, yeah.
The 2-2 pitch to Paul Goldschmidt. Here it comes. And a full count. Just does not give in.
It's a tough place to be as a pitcher here, too. Is the one thing, you got the base open, but you're playing with fire if you throw anything close.
Wind is picked up again out to right. And the 3-2 pitch with the infield in. Here it comes. And the bases are loaded. Bases loaded for Nolan Arenado. And the second walk in the inning issued by Leiter. While we have a moment, quick word from Ryan Kelly.
Danny, the credit card bills never stop.
Pay him off with a cash out refinance with Ryan Kelly.
Don't be afraid of the mailbox. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
All loaded up for Nolan Arenado. Single to center on an 0-2 pitch. First time up and scored. Fly to center and struck out back in the 4th inning.
Well, hopefully here he just stays back, stays on the pitch. All he has to do is drive the ball in the air to right center field.
Oof. A big cut by Arenado. The owner of 5 career grand slams and a .282 in his career with the average with the bases loaded. Goldschmidt on base for the 3rd time with that walk in this ball game. And the 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Maybe guessing just a little bit in between.
Really not diving out over the plate like he normally does. You know, he does not really. He's kind of just staying straight with the stride. You know, a lot of times we see the highlights of him really head down, kind of in the strike zone, and he's kind of standing up taller right now, and it feels like he just doesn't have any feel for what he's trying to do.
In the hole here, nothing in 2 with the bases loaded and 1 down.
You go through those stretches where you guess fastball and you get a breaking ball. You look slider, you get a fastball. And everything feels like it's going opposite of what you're thinking.
And the 0-2 pitch to the Cardinal third baseman. Gets away all the way to the screen, and a run will score. And that makes it a 10-4 St. Louis lead on a wild pitch. Kisner scores.
That was the old spike job right there, huh?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to see where that hit. I'm sure it got all the way to the dirt.
1-2 the count. Yeah, no chance there for Higgins. Run scores. It's now 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Arenado, base hit into right. 1 run is in. That's Tommy Edman. They'll hold Goldie, and the base hit for Arenado, his 2nd today, and he is driven in 37.
That's kind of what I was talking about right there. He hasn't been able to stay on the ball with his head over the plate a little bit as of late, and he did it right there. He just stayed with it a little bit longer, and you can see he's falling over the plate there. That's his style of hitting. And I feel like a couple of swings the last couple of days, he's kind of fallen the other way. Not really gotten himself back into a rhythm.
And it brings in Donovan, who has singled today, struck out a pair of times, and he's 1 for 3, but one of the better defensive plays we've had today. Key spot with the bases loaded. The catch to this back to the infield and threw home for the double play.
100% with that.
So Packy Naughton has sat down. The Cardinals leading by 7, so it looks like we'll see a major league debut from Zach Thompson. And the 1-0 pitch to Donovan. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And I'd hate to say it. I hate to bring it up. This game is far from over.
Oh, yeah. It's Arenado's 15th multi-hit game of the season and 3rd in his last 4. I'm 100% with you. We've seen too many games that just are crazy when the wind is blowing like it is today. And the 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Donovan.
Very generous strike zone today.
Dickerson is at the on-deck circle. The 1-2. Donovan hits it up the middle. Simmons, great play to step on the bag and get the out. Run does score. That's Goldschmidt, but what a play there by Andrelton Simmons.
You gotta be kidding me. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time this year we've seen a ball go right through the pitcher for an out. That's been a hit for 120 years. And this year with the shift, watch this, right by him, right over the bag. How was there a player standing there?
But the hands, though.
Oh, was it?
Wow.
Almost tripped and fell.
So Donovan, your runner at first base. The ground out scoring Goldie. And here is Dickerson with a shift on the right side. The pitch taken high. He is homered today, 1 for 3. His first Cardinal home run back in the 4th when the Cardinals sent 9 men to the dish. Two and 0 the count. The 2-0 pitch. And that is taken for a strike. Cardinals with 13 hits today and 12 runs scored. With 13 hits, they've only stranded 2 so far. Cubs with the exaggerated shift on the right side and a 2-1 pitch. Hit up the middle and into the shift and the out.
There's another one.
Cardinals add to their lead. We're midway through 6 and a major league debut coming up. Telecast presented by authority of the Cardinals, not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. He was the 19th overall pick in 2019 out of Kentucky, the 24-year-old Zach Thompson out of Selma, Indiana. Had been invited to Major League camp the last 3 years, and the first left-handed pitcher drafted by the Cardinals in the first round since Marco Gonzalez. Started this season number 12 prospect in the Cardinals organization by Baseball America. They'll throw that baseball out, and Zach Thompson, welcome to the big leagues in our Chevy Call to the Pen. He was rated in the top 5 of Cardinal prospects coming into the season. One thing he has done this year, Jimmy, is that he's throwing much harder. And you can already see that. He had 10 starts down in Memphis. He was 2-2 with 56 walks in 44 1/3. Excuse me, 56 strikeouts to 15 walks, and the opposition only hitting .218 against him. And that had been really the biggest concern with him, the walks. He had 57 last year in 93 innings. But he's figured it out.
Well, he's 24, you know. And like you said, the rise in velocity is maybe the rise in effort. And then it's just going to take some time to go back to finding a way to, you know, kind of gather which effort level is going to give me the best action with the strike zone.
Ground ball to short, and Zach Thompson has recorded his first out in the big leagues. Alexa, you had a chance to visit with Zach prior to today's game. What did he have to say?
Danny Mac, I did. He said this experience has been a whirlwind. He packed for a trip to Charlotte, ended up here. Said it's good to be back in the Midwest, though, where he's from. He said he showed up, and all of his fall league guys are here or have been here. Plus, he spent the last 3 spring trainings around more of the established guys. But in terms of pitching here at Wrigley, he said it would be a dream come true. Mentally, I've pitched more at Wrigley than anywhere else in the world. I feel right at home. And about wearing number 57, he feels the responsibility. He wants to honor the number and the family and live up to the kind of person Darryl was, keep that tradition going. He said he plans to sit down with Albert Pujols and get to know DK a little bit better in the next few days, guys.
All right, thank you. It was jarring the first time I saw Thompson pitch in spring training, and just seeing the number 57.
Gives me the chills thinking about it. I had a run-in on the way over here with someone that was around the area at the hotel when all that was going down, and I just thought to myself, yeah, with DK the day he passed, and it was a very chilling story that I was speaking to this person about, and they were right in the middle of it. It just happened to be kind of crossed paths by chance, and he worked for the hotel, and he actually took the phone call from us in the clubhouse.
Wow.
No longer working at the hotel, but doing other things, and it just gave me the chills. And then all of a sudden, here is number 57 on the mound the next day in the same ballpark.
Yeah, last time we saw that number here at Wrigley, it was on a hanger in the Cardinal dugout.
Yep, right by the little walkway.
2-2 the count on Rivas, and the next soft liner. Catch made by Nolan Arenado.
I think that was an iconic picture for the group of guys that we had with Mike Matheny with his hand on that jersey walking under the tunnel. Kind of forever in my brain.
Me too.
And Joe Girardi standing at the plate like he was Lou Gehrig. You know, if you think about that, he's standing out there by himself.
And it was a Saturday and the place was packed.
Yep.
The strike to Andrelton Simmons. Thompson has gotten the first two. So Selma, Indiana, I would imagine as a kid, he probably spent some time coming to Wrigley. A lot of those guys in Indiana, it's either St. Louis or Chicago, Cincinnati, those ballparks. Looking for his first major league strikeout.
Or both.
Yep. The 0-2 pitch, a check swing and a foul ball. He was striking out nearly 12 per 9, fourth best at AAA. But throwing strikes here, and that's what they want to see. And the 0-2. But you definitely see the velocity is much better. And at times in spring training when we saw him, he just could not command the strike zone.
Well, you got to remember, too, these guys are all trying to impress. Every time they're out there, their A game has got to be on point. All the coaches are out there. All the big league players are out there. General managers there, scouts are everywhere. You're trying to impress the other team. It's a little tough. And after you kind of leave that scenario and start over again, it gets a little bit easier.
It's popped up left side, calling for it, Tommy Edman. Zach Thompson, a 1-2-3 first inning in the big leagues. Nice debut. Hit by the Cardinals today, and the distance of those home runs, including 424 feet off the bat of Nolan Gorman. Some changes we'll get to here momentarily. The Gateway Honda home run inning. Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Lars Nootbaar, Bader, and Kisner for St. Louis. That was an impressive half inning put together there by Zach Thompson. Love it.
Just goes to show you with a little bit of stuff and some strikes and moving the ball around. It's no different down there than it is up here. Just got to believe in yourself.
Clint Frazier replaces Ian Happ in left.
I believe that's all, right?
Yes, sir. So the third inning here for Leiter in relief of Stroman, who allowed 9 runs, and Leiter has given up 3. I mean, that's the kind of thing that if you're Ollie and Mike Maddox, see that young man coming in throwing like that, that's exciting. That adds to your bullpen, becomes a difference maker as Nootbaar rounds out into the shift in the first out. Don't miss your chance to get discounted Cardinals tickets. 8 or more gallons of gas at a participating station using the My Phillips 66 app. And get up to 50% off Cardinal tickets. Visit phillips66gas.com/Cardinals. 2-hit day for Bader. Stolen base number 14. And 2 runs scored. He's 2 for 3. And the first pitch popped up and foul behind home plate.
I've been trying to do the math, but I was thinking about, I played with Mark's dad, and I remember him as a kid, so I was trying to do the math and think of what year it was. It was my rookie year in '94. Marky was just 3.5, 4 years old running around our clubhouse. Now the next time I see him, he's in the big leagues. It's crazy.
Happens fast.
Well, or it takes a long time. Time goes really fast. Or I'm getting old like you.
Jimmy, it's the latter.
Oh.
1-2 the count on Bader. Be interesting to see how far the Cardinals can go with Thompson if he is efficient here today, and save your pen for tomorrow. 2-2 the count.
If not, we might see some more moves.
Can add an extra man tomorrow. Jake Woodford is here. You do have Johan Oviedo. Could put him in a position to start as Bader fouls it back. And really, out of both these guys, in talking with Ollie before the game today in his office, it's about throwing strikes. Certainly the case with Oviedo. We're getting our first look at the lefty, but that has been the strike against him in the minors at times. But Oviedo up here, it's been about throwing strikes.
Yeah, same thing with Oviedo. It's just up here at the big league level. It's got great velocity, just didn't trust it.
Strikeout of Bader. Cardinals have struck out 8 times today to go along with their 13 hits and 12 runs. And while we have a moment, quick word from BJC.
Getting back to normal feels like so much more than just normal. BJC is committed to improving the health of our patients and community.
So 2 outs and nobody on. Here's Kisner. And the first pitch is flied into right center, taking Ortega all the way back to the track. Time to stretch here at Wrigley in game 2 of this 5-game series. In favor of the Cardinals, as they have the snake out there in the bleachers with all the cups.
How far can you go?
Scoreless inning for Zach Thompson in his major league debut. And the top of the lineup now, Morel, Ortega, and Frazier.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
They're about to drop it down another level.
Need some more cups.
How many cups can that be?
Cardinals shift on the left side, and the first pitch is hit out of play. Hundreds, if not
I would
thousands.
say almost 1,000. I mean, like, if you stacked up 10 cups on this table, it would only probably go as wide as, like, one of our persons, whatever you call it, like 3-4 feet wide. That thing's like 50 feet long.
Well, last night, they knocked down the pyramid. Caught on tape. People weren't happy about that. How about a first strikeout in the big leagues? The 0-2. Taken high, and it's 1-2. So the 9th player to debut for the Cardinals this year in the big leagues is on the mound. And Zach Thompson in relief of Michaelis, who went 5. 4 runs on 8 hits, struck out 4. 3 walks and a homer. Swing and a miss. And the first strikeout in the career of Zach Thompson here in the big leagues. Good breaking ball. That's 4 up and 4 down.
I think they messed up that ball right there. They threw it over to the bat boy, and nobody in the dugout wanted it.
Pretty nice bender.
That was a big curveball.
There's Rafael Ortega. Fouled back, strike 1. Thompson also some time in the Arizona Fall League, and it was this time last year. Went back to the pitching lab in Jupiter and started to work on more of the mechanics, delivery, that kind of thing. And they figured it out. And by the end of the year, throwing more strikes, cut down on the walks considerably. You have to like what you see here.
Well, there's just so many things to mechanics. You know, there's obviously putting your body in the max position for velocity, arm angle, all that, throw strikes. Also, the speed of your upper body and lower body have to match up. Your arms got to be timed up with your legs a little bit. There's just a lot of different little kind of quirks to go with it, and it's not just rearing back and throwing all the time.
3-1 the count. Ortega just 2 hits against left-handed pitching this year. And a 1-out walk. So the first base runner allowed by Zach Thompson. StubHub proud to be the official partner of the Cardinals. If plans change, you can easily list your tickets with StubHub and use the free seller toolkit to help manage the price of tickets. StubHub, sell your tickets in just a few taps of your phone without any stress. And download the StubHub app today. Cubs have received 4 walks today, and that pitch hit out of play. Frazier now in place of Ian Happ, taken out of the ball game, and Happ had a couple of base hits and a run scored. Here's the 0-1. Beauty.
Breaking ball right there.
It's a late tight break too. 0-2 the count as we play here in the home half of the 7th. Well, you notice how these young guys, when they come up, they are ready to throw the ball because of the pitch clock in the minor leagues.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing. Maybe they should just leave it that way, and then they just, when they come up here, they'll just be used to it. And the guys that are slow are grandfathered in, and they'll work their way out of the game eventually.
Heck with that. Put in the clock. There are a couple guys specifically with the Cardinals that it's going to be an adjustment when they have that happen.
A big adjustment. Especially with runners on.
And the 0-2, second strikeout for Thompson. Ooh, that movement late.
Yeah, trying to figure out, I was watching that live, I was trying to figure out what that was. It's just movement on the sinker, the velocity on the good straight fastball.
Well, if you're other franchises and you're watching the Cardinals, you're thinking, where do they find these guys?
How do they keep doing it?
I mean, they're not picking in the top 10, and it's Brendan Donovan, it's Juan Yepes. Nolan Gorman was a top 20 pick. It's Zach Thompson. I mean, just player after player. It's not only here to fill a role and be a body. I mean, these guys are playing big roles with the team.
Well, we talked about it, and I think it was Alexa said something about it too, about how he gets here and sees some of the guys he's been around, and I think it's important to get them comfortable so when they get here, it's not that big of a deal. And being in spring training and thrown in the mix is very helpful.
Schwindel has had a very good series. He's on base for the 4th time. He was jammed there. He's got a pair of walks, a pair of singles. Last night he was on base 3 times. So Thompson has allowed his first base hit in the big leagues. Runners at first and second. Patrick Wisdom had a 2-out 3-run homer in the first inning and then struck out the next 2. Runners at first and second, and that pitch is a foul ball.
We can see the velocity has definitely brought some aggressive swings. They're really trying to get out in front of the fastball, and that's when you get that breaking ball or slider that basically don't have any answer for.
And the 0-1 pitch by Thompson. Kept in front by Kisner.
That's a good play right there.
So starting in the minor leagues, Pitch count at only 34. We'll see how far that he goes here today. He might finish the game for you.
Well, that's the one benefit that we were talking about last night with pulling starters up. You can use them in any role, but they'll give you innings at any time. And that's what you're looking for. You're not looking for a guy to come up and throw an inning here and an inning there, especially in this situation with doubleheaders and a lot of back-to-back games. You're looking for someone to eat up innings however you can use them. Could be in a blowout, could be to start, could be in extra innings, could be anything.
2-2 the count. Two is hit out to left and a base hit. And a run will score. Cuts a lead to 12-5. Wisdom is driven in 4.
Just an elevated pitch with too much plate. Impressed with Patrick Wisdom's bat speed. I would have to say, I think it's improved a lot since we last saw him in the minor leagues. Shortened up his swing a little bit. Power's still there.
Runners at first and second for Hayward. And the first pitch, a breaking ball, then a strike. Warming up Thompson, by the way, between innings, was Juan Yepez. And I was talking with Ali the other day about an emergency catcher and who might that be. And he said Yepez probably the guy. Now, you did have DeYoung when he was up here, who had been a catcher.
I still can't believe that. I just look at DeYoung and never think that he would be a catcher.
And
I could believe it out of Yepez.
And the defensive metrics show he's a very good defensive player. Hits sharply to third, and Arenado comes up with it. What a play. Zach Thompson's like, man, it's a pretty good D behind me. What a play. Last time two players 14 or more stolen bases through 52 games for the Cardinals go back to 97. Delino DeShields, Royce Clayton, and Cardinals Hall of Famer Ray Lankford.
Pretty good little trio right there.
And a pretty good duo this season. Tommy Edman, a pair of stolen bases today. 3 hits, 3 runs scored. He's got 14. Bader, 2 hits today, and also his 14th stolen base. Liner came into the ball game in the 5th, and here we are in the 8th. By the way, Zach Thompson is averaging about 75 pitches per start down in the minor leagues, so certainly stretched out to potentially finish this game for the Cardinals. No one throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. It's Edman, Gorman, and Goldschmidt. 12-5 St. Louis.
40 already, so I think he's on pace to do that. Maybe be a little bit more efficient because that last inning took a few more pitches to get through.
0-2 the count on Tommy. Average right around that 300 mark with 3 hits today. And the 0-2 just got a piece.
What do you think about the my lineup situation that I told you I liked starting at first day of the season? Not bad. A little 12-run game.
The 0-2 on the ground to second baseman Christopher Morel. And the first out here in the 8th. Budweiser plays of the game and the home runs hit by St. Louis. 3-run shot, Goldie. Dickerson is first as a Cardinal. And then Nolan Gorman, big time blast. His third in the big leagues and a 3-run homer.
You know what I like best right there? Goldie's ball the other way, but Gorman's with 2 strikes. You could see he was kind of stuck in the ground there. Didn't really stride, didn't really move. He just kind of threw the hands at the ball. And I just think that's a really great teaching tool for everyone, that even though you have 2 strikes on you and you don't take a big leg kick and swing hard, if you just stay behind the ball and throw your swing at it, hit the barrel, it's going to fly. And he doesn't do a lot of leg kicking and movement, but you can see once he starts the bat off the shoulder, once it starts to get moving, then he really aggressively pulls it through the zone. It's not a big swing from the get-go. It's once he realizes he's got a pitch to hit.
The 0-2. Quick bat, too.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a lot of people misunderstand power, and they think it's right when you pick up your foot, everything's got to be 100%. And I describe it as everything starts at about 30%, and the foot goes down, and then by that time you recognize, and then you go with the big swing.
Hard hit to first on a hop, taken there by Rivas, and he makes the play.
It's kind of like golf, right? You can't pull the golf club back thinking you're going to kill this, or what happens? It goes all over the place. It's got to be, everything has got to be timed, and the aggressive part is that last, 20%, the extension of the swing, and baseball's kind of like that. The aggressive part isn't until foot's on the ground and bat's already started off the shoulder.
There's Goldie, is Leiter at a 1-2-3 7th, and trying to match that here in the 8th. Outfield deep. Goldschmidt has been on base 3 times, couple of walks, 2 runs scored, and a 3-run homer. And the first pitch is strike. Cubs will have 7, 8, and 9 coming up. Higgins, Rivas, and Simmons. No balls and 2 strikes. And the 0-2 pitch. Goldie hits it down the right field line, and that'll
blow away.
Thank you very much, Jimmy.
Blow in the wind. That's when you're the right fielder. You don't even have to move. It's just going to catch that wind and take off.
And the 0-2 struck him out. In a 1-2-3 inning. We head to the home half of the 8th, and the Cardinals on top. Hit by Patrick Wisdom in the first inning. And then the offense exploded. In the third inning for Thompson, it began with P.J. Higgins. And he's at the plate to start the home half of the 8th, and that's a ball. Alfonso Rivas at the on-deck circle, and then Andrelton Simmons. Horner, Madrigal, Contreras on the bench right now for the Cubs. And the 1-0 pitch hit out of play. Well, if you're in the sunshine here at Wrigley, it feels pretty good, but temperatures are fairly cool right now. If you're in the shade, it's chilly.
Yeah, I was speaking to the guys behind us, and they said there'll be times when everyone out in the bleachers is wearing shorts and a T-shirt, and the people back here behind the plate are wearing jackets.
It's cold.
I think it's cold up here.
Not as cold, though, as some of the nights we have spent here at Wrigley Field. Wind is blowing in right in behind home plate into the press box. Get those cold, cold nights here in Chicago. And the 2-1 hit out of play, and it's 2-2.
I think that day here and the day in Pittsburgh will never, ever leave me.
We had a day last year, I believe, in St. Louis against the Rockies of all teams, but that was one of the coldest, if not the coldest day we had at Busch Stadium. And the 2-2. And another souvenir.
It's never as cold at home as it is on the road for us because of the luxury of having our own stuff and heaters. And to be honest with you, I would run down the clubhouse if I was cold and get a jacket. I'm not even kidding.
The 2-2. And a couple of hops hit to Tommy Edman. Settles and makes the play in the first out.
He's done a really nice job at short, hasn't he? I mean, a really nice job. And you could clearly see that between him at short, Arenado at third, and yesterday with Gorman, and now with Donovan, that could easily be your future right there for a long time. Well, those four guys out there now, you throw in Gorman. Pretty nice.
There's Rivas, who is hitless today. Struck out swinging in the second inning, flied out to left and hit a soft liner to third.
Pretty good pitch right there.
Thompson can give you 4 innings to finish the game. You're talking about a save in a major league debut.
3 innings or more. I just saw a thing come across the screen down there that John Brebbia is starting today for the Giants. What about that one?
They'll do that though. Dave Kapler and the Giants will go with that opener, if you will. Tampa Bay is a team that's done that a bunch. Cardinals have had to do it a couple of times, and probably again tomorrow. It's 3-2. Thompson had a 1-2-3 6th inning. Had a walk, couple of hits, struck out 2 in the 7th, has gotten the first man, and now battling back here in the 3-2 pitch. Comes back to get him, and his 3rd strikeout.
Pretty good job right there. Just battled back, threw some good fastballs away. Stuck with it.
The last Cardinal to have a debut and then pick up a save in that was Brad Thompson. He did that back in 2005.
What? A Thompson?
From Thompson in 05 to Thompson in 22. No relation.
Bradley. You know he's listening right now.
1 ball and 1 strike on Simmons.
I mean, he's working. Maybe he's not listening, but he'll be around for the post game. Lots of action to break down tonight.
Thompson just rearing back and saying,
there
you go.
Not messing around when the bases are empty, huh?
No question. And the 2-1.
Thanks. This is where guys that come up need to learn to pitch to contact a little bit, though, too. Maybe take a little off.
When's the last time you saw that?
You know, throw some balls to the outside, not try to overthrow. Get yourself through a quicker inning. Probably 1997.
Yeah. On to 3-1 to Tommy Edman. And a 1-2-3 for Zach Thompson. Nice debut. We head to the 9th. A position player to pitch this 9th inning for the Cubs. It's Frank Schwindel. And it's our Chevy call to the pen. Edmundo Sosa will pinch hit for Nolan Arenado.
I think this is a really good move right here to, one, maybe give Nolan an inning off, but not to have him face a guy like this. Smart move, I think, right here by Oli Marmol.
Well, the other part, too, remember the couple of diving plays that Nolan was close to in the back. It looks like he was grabbing that. Schwindel is working very quickly.
I think more so, too, the at-bat is important. Just don't want to see him facing a guy like this.
And the 2-1 hit out to right. And the catch made by Jason Hayward battling the sun. Well, we have a moment. Quick word from Tickets for Less.
Tickets for Less. For a better ticketing experience. Best seats, best prices, and no surprises at checkout.
Brendan Donovan, a couple of strikeouts. An RBI.
What a great swing.
Single and a catch made out and left.
And an out.
Now it's Corey Dickerson. Schwindel trying to have a 1-2-3.
The first one of the day. A lot of guys on base today, huh?
Dickerson, the home run back in the fourth, his first as a Cardinal. More and more teams are going to this with the position players covering that final inning. And Dickerson has a 2-home run day. That's out to deep right. And with 2 outs, here at the top of the ninth, Corey Dickerson, his second home run today. Cardinals have 14 hits and 13 runs. Now for this guy, I want to see something good happen for Newport.
Yes.
Does have a double today with 3 ground outs, and he drives it out to deep right. Back-to-back Newport. First home run.
Schwindel thought he was doing something. He raised his hand after that line drive to left, like saying, I'm going to get through this. And then, you know, some of these guys is like, when you play slow pitch softball, some can do it and some can't. Those 2 guys look like they know what they're doing.
So Lars Newport, his first home run. He's got a double and a home run today, and now it's Bader.
I'm going to go with 3 in a row right here.
Bader with 2 hits and 2 runs scored today. It's now 14-5. The eephus, and it's popped up. And Bader can't believe it. Schwindel with the catch.
Did you see him shuffle his feet?
38 miles per hour. His first as a Cardinal. You had Nolan Gorman as well with a 3-run shot. Dickerson again in the 9th. And then Newport as they went back-to-back. 5 of them today for St. Louis. 14 runs on 15 hits. And they lead at 14-5. Juan Yepes is in. Sosa will stay in. Donovan shifting. Edman is at second base, so some changes for the Cardinals.
See those last 2 home runs hit by the lefties off the slow pitch softball. Both of those were one-handed. And that just goes to further my theory with hitting. It's not all about swinging as hard as you can. It's all about the connection between your legs, feet, all the way up. And if you stay back and throw the hands out there, the ball flies.
And a grounder left side. There's Donovan. Throw up the line. The tag by Yepes. And the first out here in the bottom of the 9th. You had Gorman with the 3-run blast. You got Donovan with maybe the play of the day with the bases loaded. Remember, the Cubs had the bases loaded and nobody out, with Michaelis on the ropes in the 5th. He got a strikeout of Wisdom, and then Hayward hit one to shallow right. Donovan back to the infield, made the catch, spun and threw a strike to the plate. and the Cubs did not score. And yeah, there's a lot of offense from the Cardinals, but that is a big play today.
That was the half inning of the day for sure.
A one pitch to Ortega.
You could see a knee buckling swing on that first curveball, and he threw it to him again.
Ortega had 2 hits, a walk, and a run scored. And the 1-1 curveball again, a beauty. Zach Thompson is 2 outs away from a save in his big league debut.
I don't think you can't throw that same curveball again. If you're going to throw it, you got to spike it.
Zach came in relief in the 6th inning of Michaelis. Went 1-2-3. Struck out 2 in the 7th. Gave up 2 hits and a run. At a 1-2-3 8th. He's gotten the first out here in the 9th, and it's 2-2 on Ortega. Lined out to left and a base hit. Just stuck the bat out.
Got 5 curveballs in a row right there, and I just think that's a good pitch. He's only given up a single, but big league hitters will stay in there, and even though he didn't really stay in there that long, found a way to put it in play. Butt out, body going to first.
Early September last year, Cardinals had a 5 home run game against the Cubs. Last time they've had 5 in a game. O'Neill, Nootbaar hit a pair. DeYoung and Bader went deep in that ball game.
But the pine tar on that bat.
Clint Frazier here.
It's about 6 inches too high. Not just a little bit.
And Frazier lines it to right. The catch made by Nootbaar. And the Cardinals 1 out away from evening up the series. Trying to get Michaelis his 4th win. Stroman would drop to 2-5, and Zach Thompson would have a save in his major league debut. Here's Schwindel, and well, we do have the DH, but we've got a pitcher hitting right now.
The pitcher is definitely hitting.
Fielder's indifference. Ortega at second base, and the 0-1 fastball taken inside. So Thompson, this will be his 68th pitch, and he may have bailed out the Cardinals. Looking forward to tomorrow. The 1-1.
I think that question has pretty much answered itself, barring any kind of disaster here in the next 5 minutes. Been impressed. What did you say? Been impressed.
Absolutely.
Glad that maybe finish this inning off and he could be in the record books with Brad Thompson.
Foul back on pitch number 70.
Long lost cousin.
So the doubleheader tomorrow, early start for game 1. We'll have it for you. 11:30 we'll be on the air with the pregame show. And then we'll have the first game between the Cardinals and the Rays on Tuesday night. The 1-2 pitch. Just missed on the inside corner. Trying to finish it off with a strikeout.
You can see the Seagulls are feeling it too. They're ready to swoop down in the stands.
Pitch number 72 from Thompson. 2-2 the count on Schwindel. He's battling.
Yeah, I think those pitches he went in tight the last couple. I think that's where you need to pitch him. I'm thinking that's why he struggled with the fastballs. Guys have been aggressively getting in on him a little bit.
Schwindel on base 4 times. 2 walks, 2 hits, and another 2-2. We'll do it again. The 2-2. Popped up left side. Zach Thompson, 4 innings out of the bullpen, and the Cardinals roll to a 14-5 win. Thompson in his major league debut picks up the save. Michaelis the win, and the series is even at a game apiece.
History made with the Thompson twins today. Brad Thompson's going to talk about it here coming up on the post game, and congratulations to the long-lost cousin of him with the save today. And I think this is a pretty impressive job by Zach Thompson and all of the Cardinals offense today. They kept it on. They poured it on for 14 runs.
So the Cardinals get the 5 home runs. They fell behind early 3-0 and then came back 14-5. They win it. And Thompson, a major league debut and a day he'll never forget. Post-game show comes your way next.